Njoki Kamanja Kethi.
Hi guys, welcome to Shine with Njoki Kamanja Kethi. Thank you so much for always supporting this channel. May the good Lord bless you. So we are at idyllic Mistli House and Restaurant. This is where we are hosting our awesome show. So this place has a splash pool, hot pool, and a normal pool, and many games that you can bring your child to come and play. And today we are speaking about a topic that is close to my heart and close to the guest that we have today. It is a topic about grief. And because the person I'm about to introduce is a guest who I love so much. Kuna mahali anilifunza about kichwa ngumu. We are going to speak about it. She is a pastor, a counselor, an accountant. Sitaki kumaliza CV yake. So thank you so much for coming. Karibu.
Thank you, Njoki Kamanja.
Yes.
I'm delighted to be here, and I'm glad to be a blessing to whoever will be listening to us later or even years to come. My prayer is that today's topic will be a blessing to somebody. Somebody will find healing. Somebody will learn to become a shoulder someone can lean on, and it can become an information that will cause somebody to get out of being stuck in mourning or in grief, and they can be able to start living again. So welcome. I'm delighted to be at Idyllic Mystery House. It's a good place to be. It's a good place to come and rest. It's a good place to bring your wife out. It's a good place to bring your husband out. Yes, husbands who are listening. It is a good place you can bring your wife out.
Thank you so much for coming. I want you to introduce yourself, what you do, and why this topic grief is close to your heart.
I have many names, but I want to use what I use wherever I am. My name is Wachu Mwangi. Above all, I am born again. I love the Lord Jesus Christ as my personal Savior. My delight is to do His will, to serve Him wherever I'm called to do it. And even voluntarily. I do it in a matatu, I will do it in the office, I will do it in the park. Because my call or my mandate is to win as many souls to Christ as possible. I'm a mother of 4. I'm a grandmother of 1.
Wow.
I am an accountant. I work for Kenya Power and Writing Company currently. I'm a certified accountant. I'm a counselor. And I'm a pastor by the grace of God. It's not by my own doing, or by the grace of God. And I'm delighted to be your guest today, Njoki Kamanja.
Thank you so much. The reason I called you here, there's a time we had a meeting in church. It's called the Daughters of Impact. You spoke about emotional healing. And when you were speaking about it, today I want us to be vulnerable, because when we talk about grief, you really know what it means. And I also know what it means because I have lost 2 siblings. I know to you what it means because you have lost a father. I called you so that we can talk to someone. You know, there are times when you are grieving and you really don't know what to do. But I want you to first explain, what is grief?
Thank you, Njoki. This topic is close to me. I have lost a sister. I have lost a very close and a very dear niece who was only 7 years old. I have lost other nieces and other nephews, but recently I lost my father, who was my best. That is the best thing I ever owned in this world, my father. And so grief is close to me. I am still walking through it because, as I say, and I will keep on saying, mourning or grieving is a journey. You don't overcome it overnight. It is a journey that you walk through by the grace of God. Every day you wake up and you know you have conquered a small hill. The following day you wake up, you conquer another hill. And after some time you realize you have conquered a few hills, but I think grieving, it never heals completely. We learn to adapt to live without our loved ones.
Wow. So what are some of the things that can cause someone to grieve?
Now, I would want to say that grief is an emotional, it's an overwhelming emotion. And as I said, I'm a pastor and I'm a Christian. I would want to say that even in the Bible, God knew we would be going through grief at one point. And that is why David says that when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to that rock that is higher than I. Because one time or another, we will go through grief. Maybe not a loss of a loved one, but other losses that we'll be discussing later. And when we say we are grieving, it is because we have responded to an event that has happened in our life that has created negative emotions in us. And that is what I define as grief. There are several reasons why, Njoki, we can mourn. Number one, when we lose a loved one. Like the way you've said, you've lost siblings. I have lost a sister. I have lost my father recently. I have, 3 years ago, I lost that beautiful boy. I used to call him my little man. He was named after my father, and he just loved me to bits. You can lose a job, Njoki Kamanja, and that's a loss, and it's a serious loss because you have lost your economic independence. When you lose a relationship, sometimes we think we are not grieving. But Njoki, you cannot be friends with somebody for 20 years. And then all of a sudden, that girl cannot pick your call. That gentleman comes and tells you you've been friends for 7 years and your hopes were high. Oh, you knew.
This is it.
This is it. I'm getting married to this handsome, tall and dark man. Then all of a sudden he tells me, it's over. It's not working for me. Njoki, that is a serious.
Devastating.
It's a very devastating thing. The other thing that can bring a lot of grieving is when you wake up, you have been so physically dependent, you can be able to do your things, and a sickness comes in and you're told this is terminal, you're going to live with this forever. Or even more to it, you become physically disabled. You start depending on other people. Whereas all your life, you have been completely physically independent on yourself. That can cause grief because it is a loss.
I wanted you to explain on that because many people think you can only grieve after losing somebody.
No.
You see, let's talk about some of the steps of healing from grief because you see, like personally, when I lost my sister, I was in class 6. That's when I realized what death is because kila mtu hafungwi kitamba ile ya white, ni mimi tu nimefungwa, and I'm like, what is happening? So all of a sudden, that's when I realized, oh, ni mimi nimefiwa, hawa hawajafiwa. So even healing from that as a young girl, I didn't know what to do, you see. So what are like of the steps somebody can go through so that they can overcome?
Right. Njoki, there are several stages which you or me don't have necessarily to go through them. They may be, we all go through the stages differently. And I want to say here that men and women mourn differently. And why we mourn differently, it is because we women, we are really emotional. So our emotional cup is usually full, unlike men. So men will most likely go through 2 stages and they're able to overcome grief very quickly. It's because of their masculine nature and also because their emotional cup is either quarter or it does not exist. So their emotional cup is almost empty. So they don't know how to grieve because grief is an emotional affair. So men, although there are exemptions, they will grieve 1 month and they forget it. But for us, years, we are still thinking about my father. When I talk to my brothers right now, it's almost 1 year since my father arrested. When I talk to my brothers, they're like, you realize they have really moved on very fast. I am still stuck in January when I buried my father. I am still thinking, I'm going home and I'm not going to fight that man. That is the reason I have not stepped home, where all of them have been able to go home not once, not twice, not 3 times. But Wachu here is still struggling with the fact that it is now 11 months and I haven't gone home.
Wow.
Actually, yesterday was exactly 10 months since he passed on. And you can imagine all the emotions that were going through my mind and my heart as I thought about it.
Yeah.
And so there are stages of healing, of grieving or mourning.
Yeah.
Number one is that we get into denial.
Yeah.
It has not happened. My father is not dead. I have not lost this job.
Yeah.
This diagnosis that I have been given is not for me.
Yeah, because we even find ourselves going from one hospital to another.
Second opinion, third opinion, fifth opinion, sixth opinion. A guy has told you, Njoki Kamanja, this thing is not working. But every morning you do a text.
Hi.
Hi. At midday, you try to call him and he snobs you. In the evening, you will cry on your pillow and you will still do a text and remind him how much you love him.
Yeah.
You are going through denial. We have seen people, and this has happened at our place of work. Somebody has been sacked or somebody has been terminated, but they report to that office every single morning.
Because they can't believe I'm not going to be coming to this place
anymore. Or they can't believe that I have been productive, and all of a sudden somebody says I can't be productive. And because they have not figured what to do with their lives, they walk in that denial until somebody will come and spark them and tell them, wake up, you're no longer an employee here. So that is one stage. The other stage is that we become very angry. This is not happening to me.
Yeah.
Why is this happening to me, God?
Why me?
Why me? Why me? Why not that other wicked person? Because sometimes
I thought I served you.
Exactly. Why can't you just heal my father and give us him for more 5 years? There are so many things I wanted to do for him. And here all of a sudden, 3 months, things have happened and he is completely gone. So we become very, very angry with God, with ourselves, and we're asking ourselves, what is it that I didn't do right? What is it that I could have done? I will give my own personal example. When my sister passed on, because I was not able to go and see her in hospital. I was not able to go and see her when she was quite sick at home. I was very expectant with my firstborn. The day she got admitted in hospital is the day I got my baby. So I couldn't travel. And so I waited for a whole month before I could travel. The day I arrived home, Njoki, she passed on. So I didn't talk to her. We didn't have a conversation. We didn't say goodbyes. I'm talking about 26 years ago. But Njoki, it feels like yesterday even when I talk about it here. Because I still felt that I needed time to say goodbye to her. She was my best friend in the family. She was my right follower. And I think we were born either the same year or we were apart, either a year or 9 months. So we were very close. And she also didn't get sick for a long time. So I got so angry and I wondered, what is it that I didn't do right? What is it that I didn't do that
or
would
what
have...
if I came earlier?
Good. Or what if I had brought her closer to my life, maybe I would have prevented this death. What is it that I did to my boss that she sacked me? What is it that I didn't do about my health that this sickness has struck me? What is it I didn't do to my relationship that it is broken? What haven't I done to my child that this child has become rebellious? Because that's another source of grief.
It's true.
When our children are rebellious and you're wondering, what is it that I didn't do as a parent?
And at the same time, you are telling other parents how to do parenting.
You are the one actually who is called to go and do seminars. You are the best preacher. Exactly. And you have prayed for them. You have seen them change from being bad to good. But your child is becoming worse and worse. Kila mahali. So it is a source of grief, and we keep on grieving over them because it is what I call a continuous loss.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're staying with this child every day, Njoki, and every day you're getting very negative reports.
Oh.
So you continually grieve over this.
Yeah.
So anger comes, anger keeps on boiling up in you, and sometimes you don't know what to do. The other phase is that you bargain. You are bargaining with yourself, you're bargaining with God. Is it me? Is it why? What?
Is it like the blame stage?
Yes.
You're trying to locate
where the
loopholes.
The loopholes, yes. The knots.
Yeah.
And you're really bargaining within yourself. Then you get to a certain level we call the depression. You get so depressed about the whole thing, and you feel like life is not worth it. And if care is not taken at this point, people become suicidal. If care is not taken at this point, people can kill themselves. They can commit suicide because life becomes meaningless. Meaningless. Life becomes worthless. I mean, you are 35 years old, and this guy has told you no.
And you can't imagine, how do I move to another guy now?
How do I move on? And I had told all my friends, in the next 6 months,
in
it's
fact,
going to be, there is a ring on my finger. And this guy tells, Njoki, you're no longer
the Lord has spoken.
You're no longer, I think I really made a mistake. So how do you move on?
Wow.
The depression stage. And finally, and this is the best stage, it is called the acceptance stage. It is when you wake up by the grace of God, or you have gone through help, your friends have been of good support, counselors have come in, prayers have come in.
Yeah, very important.
And by you start putting your bricks together, and now you can have a surface that you can walk on, and you accept and say, hata kama alisema mimi hanitaki, I am beautiful, I'm wonderful, I'm fearful, I can do this, others have walked this path, so me too, I can walk this, and I'm going to be successful. And you're able to pick up the pieces of your life, and you can start life again.
So something else that I want us to talk about, we have me who is grieving, but I have people around me. You see, like friends, church mates, workmates. What are the do's and don'ts of those people? Because some of them have told you, at least baba yako alikuwa mzee. At least like uko na baba, mimi sikuwa na yeye. You see? Ama at least wewe ulijua ulikuwa na sibling. Me imagine sijawahi kuwa na yeye. You see? Like you're trying to tell me to make it look like it's nothing, like that person didn't exist, or it was their time anyway. You see? So what are the do's and don'ts? Because we have a problem of people giving you the words that you do not need when you're grieving.
Before we get to the do's and don'ts, I want to quickly ask ourselves, what are the indicators, Njoki?
Yeah.
What is it that can tell you this girl is mourning, this girl is grieving, this girl is not okay? Number one, we withdraw. We tend to withdraw from people we know. We go and hide ourselves in a cocoon. And the reason why we withdraw, because it feels very nice, Njoki. You have gone through grief. I have gone through it. It feels very nice when you go to your bedroom, cover yourself, pick the pillow and cry. It is so soothing. And so many times why we withdraw, it is because we want to soothe our pain in that cocoon, and we do not want anybody in that space at that point. So that is indicator number one, that this girl, she's mourning, she has lost something, and she doesn't want others to know. People become very anxious and fearful, mostly because they have lost something, so they also don't know what is the next thing that I'm going to lose. Now, if you have been in a relationship and it abruptly ends, it is only by the grace of God that that girl or that man is able to heal and be able to get to the next, because they are fearful, they are anxious, because sometimes we don't know what it is that we did wrong in the previous one.
Actually, they didn't even tell you what you did.
Exactly. And sometimes you don't have to have done anything for a relationship to end.
Very true.
You don't have to. So that fear and that anxiety makes you become very cautious as you get to the next one. There is that hopelessness and feeling of sadness. And there are people around you, Kamanja, you know, that every time they're so gloomy, they're grumpy, you have no idea what causes them not to be happy. If you dig a little bit, many years ago or recently, they have gone through grief, which they did not address. And so it has become a cancer within them. So it goes, comes back, goes, comes back. It is until that person rises up, accepts, and seeks to address that issue. Sometimes they become very angry, irritable for no reason. So if you find a friend of yours like that, instead of dismissing them, become their friends and try to find out what it is that they have gone through. Sometimes we get pains and aches all over, you don't know, but like when after 6 months of my father's death, I would wake up in the morning, Njoki, and I'm wondering, who's getting out of this bed? I'm not sick, but I'm so tired, I'm fatigued, I have pain all over.
Wow.
And at that point I realized I'm getting into depression. But did the people know? No, I'm the bubbly type. I'm the happy type. I'm the smiling. I'm the smiling type.
Yeah.
But in my own small space, that was happening.
Wow.
But I noted it very fast, and I knew it is time to start the healing process. Sometimes we become difficult people, just difficult. But it's because I am trying to say something that nobody is. I'm trying to say, like on this pool, if somebody got here and they are drowning, they will try to lift their hands up, seeking for help. So difficult people sometimes is their way of lifting their hands and saying that I am sinking, I'm not okay, I need help. And sometimes we do not know. When we are also grieving, sometimes we become physically sick. And I like giving my own example. That because I had gone through so many losses that I had not been able to deal with, I developed very serious ulcers. And it is by the help of one Dr. Wakahe, who sat me down, talked to me like his own, and told me, young girl, if you continue like this, we are putting you 6 down. Because the ulcers were very bad, they were bleeding. Because I had built up very negative emotions within me. So, what then do we do before Kamanja we come to the do's and the don'ts? Number one, let us seek for help. Surround yourself with people that can help. You refuse to die in your mourning. As I said, accept it, confront it, and move on. Number two, seek help, Kamanja. Don't allow yourself to die in your grief. Don't allow yourself, like I did, to get sick in my grief. Shout out. The Bible says in the book of Psalm 61 verse 2, that from the edge of the world, meaning from wherever I am, I will cry out for help. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to that rock that is higher than me. So wherever you are, call out for help. Don't shy off. Because Kamanja, it is you who knows where the pain is.
True.
So don't run away from people. Instead, go out and seek help. But as you seek help, surround yourself with people
with positive energy.
Good. People who will not tell you, jiangalie mama mkubwa kama wewe, you are grieving your 83-year-old father. You know?
Yes, some people.
Hey, mchungaji kama wewe,
Kwani
and you are
uombangi?
here, uombangi, you don't pray. I thought you are the
An
closest
intercessor
to
like
God.
you.
Exactly. Because some of the people around us, that is how they will talk to
Very
us.
true.
But they don't know the relationship I had with my father.
Very true.
They don't know the relationship I had with my sister. They don't know the relationship I had with my ex. So if my ex has gone, your ex may have gone. But the pain is different. I keep on telling people the way I mourn my father is not the way my sister Pastor Leah will mourn him. It's not the same way my brothers are mourning him. We are 13 of us, but I can assure you, Kamanja, we are all mourning him differently. Because the pain, the magnitude of pain in each one of us is completely different. And I keep on saying this, surround yourself with people you can depend on. Jesus had 12 disciples. But when it came to get the Semane, Kamanja, he didn't carry the 12. We don't find Philip there. We don't find Matthew. We don't even find the doctor. We don't find Dr. Ruko there.
No.
And you would imagine he would have carried the doctor along so that if anything happens to him, he would be treated. But he knew, I can carry these 3 guys. 3. Wakae na mimi. Because he had tested them. He knew I could depend on John, I could depend on Peter. Though he was the better one, he knew this guy. Exactly. I can depend on him, I can trust him. So don't look for a crowd to walk with. No. 3 trusted ones. The ones that you know you can become vulnerable to.
And they won't judge you.
And they will not judge you. They will not condemn you. They will not take advantage of you.
Exactly.
And they will also not dismiss your pain. Because there are people who will just dismiss your pain. Like you're saying, ati he? Kwani si afadhali wewe ulikuwa na baba? Mimi I've never seen him. Wangu alikufa nikiwa mtoto. Wewe, huyo ni wewe, na huyu ni mimi. He may even, I would have loved to see him at 100 years. So, surround yourself with people that you can depend, people you can be vulnerable to, and you know they will not judge you, they will not become Job's friends. No, Job's friends, they all came and told him, you have sinned.
You are the one who has
You
sinned.
have sinned, Njoki.
Unashinanga huku umejifanya, you give people, yet you are a sinner.
You umejiletea.
And they were so courageous to stay with him for days, telling him that.
Not 1 day, not 2 days, 3 days. So know your associates and surround yourself with the right people. The other thing is learn to encourage yourself. Know when you are alone in your room, when everybody else has gone home, you know, like the way we do African barriers and mourning and grieving, everybody will come. But the moment you put that body down, everybody goes. Wengine hata wanarudi na hearse. They go back with them.
With the hearse.
Imagine. Because to us Africans, we feel once the body is down, it is done and it is done. When you
even say, hiyo kazi tumemaliza.
Mtoto wako akikufa, Njoki, you will go back home alone.
Exactly.
If you have a husband, you are lucky. You will stay with him. But he may not even understand the pain of a mother. So sometimes
maybe then to him he'll be saying, at least I have 2 more.
But you know, I may have 10 children, but
they
are all different. 10. They are all different. So this one has gone, is my child. And it's not comparable to the rest of these children. So also learn to know that it will come a time when you will need to encourage yourself alone. And this is the hardest thing to do. It is so hard. And I always give this example of David. He has come from battle. His own team turns against him and he's wondering, I thought you were my generals. They're looking at him and saying, hii mashida yote
ni mabibi tumepoteza juu
yako. Ni ya juu yako. Watoto wetu wametekwa nyara juu yako. Mashamba yetu yameenda kwa sababu nyumba zetu si tumepata zikiwaka moto juu yako. They turned again and he was left alone. What else would he have done? he had to run to encourage himself in the Lord, his God. And at this point, I want to say, it is important to have a relationship with God.
Very important.
Whatever you think God is, whoever you judge God to be, it is important to have a higher power. And for me, because I'm a Christian, I'm a pastor, Jesus Christ is that higher power. It is that higher rock that we can all run to and we find our safety. We can read that from the first book of Samuel, chapter 30, verse 6, that we have to run to encourage ourselves in the Lord. And finally, you have to run to start speaking to yourself positively. Because when grief has come, sometimes it takes away what we know. We feel like cover has gone. Then finally, Njoki, we have to learn to speak to ourselves positively, because after we have gone through grief, sometimes we feel our independence has been taken, our livelihood has gone. If you have lost a job or your business has closed down, you have lost a child, you have lost a father, you have lost a spouse, you have lost a relationship, there is something that goes out of you, you know, these things. Or it is your aspirations that have become so drained, you almost feel you have been denied. So when this has happened, sometimes we feel so vulnerable, we feel uncovered, we feel something left me. And so you need to start speaking to yourself again, positively every morning. For me, I call it prophesying to yourself in the morning. Remind yourself, this one, I will go. In Kikuyu language, we say, Dena dolemeri. Dena is troubles and problems. They have roots. So they don't last forever. As much as this is grief and it's mourning, I would want to refuse to be stuck in January 17. Because Dad has rested. My sister left 26 years ago. I am left here because I am yet done with what God wants me to do. So I need to tell myself every morning that life, as much as it is hard, life has to move on. So you need to arise up every morning and speak some positive vibes. Let me call that. That is the current language. Give yourself positive vibes, because you may not get it from anybody else. You need to tell yourself, I'm strong enough to go through this. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Though it may look like a mountain, though it may be looking like a valley, it is not a permanent place. It is something that I am going through. And because I have the Lord Jesus Christ as my shepherd, I will go through this. And I'm coming out of the other side victorious. We need to run to do that every single morning.
I don't know, maybe we can do a part 2, because I think now the time.
Finishing.
You're finishing?
Yes,
on the do's and the don'ts?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Njoki had asked me, what are the do's and the don'ts that your support system, who is your friend, who are your friends, that they should not do or they should do? Number one, if you're that good friend to that person who is going through grieving or mourning, learn to be patient. Learn to be patient with that person and be understanding. Don't, when you go to visit this person, just sit there and listen to the nothing. If they repeat the same story yesterday, they gave you the day before yesterday, just listen, Njoki, and don't interrupt them. If you go to visit them and they don't feel like talking, don't force them to talk. Just allow them to be themselves. Maybe all they needed was you to go and sit there and just, they feel nice that somebody came to visit them. Now, for those that will withdraw and run away from people, if you are that dependable friend, look for them. If they don't pick your call, walk to their house. Let them find you seated in their sitting room and wonder, oh my God, alingiriria wapi? Because you are that trusted friend. Don't share your experiences. When I come to, when you're talking about your siblings that you have, don't tell them, me. When my sister passed on, please don't, it is irrelevant. Finally, don't tell them it is okay. Don't tell them I understand. Don't tell them I feel you. Can I tell you, Kamanja?
You
You don't understand
You
a
don't.
thing. So don't tell people it is okay. By the way, it is not okay. When you go for burials, Kamanja, we have this tendency of telling people, ati nyamaza, jipatie nguvu. Excuse me, if they feel like screaming,
let them scream.
if they feel like they want to remove their clothes, hold the clothes. They are removing, yes, wasijianike, but that is what they want to do at that point. If they want to cry, give them that space to cry. And as I bring this to conclusion, I want to say, there is one pain that I tell people, I have never gone through this grief. I pray God that I will never go through it. And it is the pain of losing a child. I have had my sisters, I have had my brothers, I have had my friends go through it. It is pain one never overcomes. Njoki. You never, ever, ever, ever overcome the pain of losing a child. And for me, these are my thoughts. It is because parents, they gave birth to us, so they are our parents. We have that parental relationship. A husband, Njoki, tumepatana tukiwa wakubwa. But for a child, and especially from the mother's perspective, I shared this baby
9 months.
9 months. He or she was in my stomach. We have been together in the womb. I have nursed the baby on my breast. I have seen the babies do whatever they do, and then all of a sudden the baby is taken away from me. That is one pain that for me, I know it's for a lifetime. Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much. Personally, I have learned something. Let's not keep thinking that the other people are exaggerating their pains, because we are mourning differently. I could be a strong person who overcomes things just like that, you see, and the other person needs to take time. Because personally, I've seen people think that after the burial, just take 2 months if you have to go so much. But you have made me understand one thing. There is not like an exact time when mourning should end or grief should end. And most importantly, let's keep good people around us. Let's keep speaking and speaking and speaking to each other. And for us who are speaking to these people, let's understand them. And I also talked about this topic because it's a season where people are losing relatives left, right, and center.
You can say that again.
You are losing church mates every now and then, colleagues at work, and they need somebody to talk to them. And I am so grateful that you came. I know ulikuwa mahali very busy, and you are a busy woman, I must say, and thank you so much. God bless you so much.
Amen.
Yes, I am so grateful. So she's Pastor Wachu Mwangi, with all her titles. She's just an amazing person, humble enough to speak to people, being vulnerable. It's the first time I have been vulnerable on my show also. Thank you so much. This is Idyllic Mistly, where we are right now. It has a splash pool, hot pool, it has a normal pool, bumper rides. When you come here with your children, girlfriend, wives, as Pastor Wachu said, it's a place where you're going to have fun. And it's along our West Road at Maziwa. When you're just there at Maziwa, utaona Idyllic Mistly House and Restaurant. Thank you so much. May the good Lord bless you. And I pray that you're going to find your healing and peace. This is Shine with Njoki Kamanja Kethi. And as we always say, you're the light and you can shine. Asante sana.
God bless you.
Bye.
Shine with Njoki Kamanja Kethi.